Welcome to part 2 of the Azure Quiz series by FullStackDev. In this quiz, you'll face 50 advanced questions on core Azure services, from compute and storage to networking and identity management. Question 1. Which Azure compute service lets you run event-driven code without managing servers? Question 2. Which Azure service provides managed Kubernetes orchestration? Question 3. What is the purpose of Azure availability sets? Question 4. Which Azure Storage service is best for unstructured object data? Question 5. What is the maximum size of a single Azure blob? Question 6. Which storage tier in Azure Blob is ideal for infrequently accessed data? Question 7. What is Azure Files used for? Question 8. Which Azure networking service enables private, secure communication between VMS? Question 9. What is the function of network security groups in Azure? Question 10. Which Azure service provides secure, cross-premises connectivity? Question 11. What is Azure Load Balancer used for? Question 12. Which service connects on-premises networks to Azure through a site-to-site VPN? Question 13. Azure Bastion is used to what? Question 14. Which Azure service offers a fully managed identity provider? Question 15. What does RBAC stand for in Azure? Question 16. What role allows full access to manage all Azure resources? Question 17. What is the purpose of Azure Key Vault? Question 18. Conditional access in Azure AD is used to what? Question 19. What does Azure Defender do? Question 20. Which service in Azure allows creation of custom roles? Question 21. Update. Which storage type is ideal for hosting a high IOPS Azure VM disk? Question 22. Which Azure identity type is intended for use by apps and services? Question 23. Which Azure component is used to assign public IPs to resources? Question 24. Which networking feature allows VNets in different VNets to communicate? Question 25. What is the default port for RDP access to Azure VMS? Question 26. What is Azure Disk Encryption used for? Question 27. Which Azure service lets you deploy containers without orchestration overhead? Question 28. Which identity model allows users from other organizations to access your Azure resources? Question 29. Which Azure monitoring service collects performance metrics and logs? Question 30. Which component can autoscale a group of identical Azure VMs? Question 31. Which tool can be used to simulate and estimate Azure pricing? Question 33. Which feature enables fault tolerance across Azure data centers in the same region? Question 34. What protocol is used by Azure Bastion for connecting to VMS? Question 35. Which type of IP address does Azure assign to VM by default? Question 36. Which service provides security scores and recommendations? Question 37. Which of the following does Azure not support? Question 38. Which tier of Azure Blob is cheapest but slowest to access? Question 40. What does Azure VNet NSG stand for? Question 41. What's the key benefit of using Azure Resource Locks? Question 42. Which type of role is built in and cannot be changed? Question 43. What does the contributor role allow in Azure? Question 44. Which service helps detect security misconfigurations in Azure? Question 45. Which networking resource is required to use Azure Bastion? Question 46. What command starts Azure CLI? Question 47. Which storage type is best for archive backups in Azure? Question 48. What type of authentication does Azure AD support? Question 49. Which of these offers a private, secure connection to Azure? Question 50. Which command is used to list all available subscriptions in Azure CLI? Well done! You've completed part 2 of the Azure Quiz series. From compute to storage and networking, every question took you one step closer to Azure mastery. Don't forget to like, comment your score, and subscribe to FullStackDev for the next quiz.